Hey everybody. Well, been out in the garden hoeing this morning, cleaning up some of the weeds around between the plants here. Plan on getting the tractor out here with the cultivators and going through the rows and cleaning it up the rest of the way. I prefer to weed between the plants and then get the cultivators ran through the row afterwards. Some people rather do the cultivating first and then clean up whatever they missed, but I like to do this way first because I don't have to walk back in the garden and step all over the freshly loosened up soil with the cultivators and start compacting the soil back down again. So that's just my preference. There's no really right or wrong way to do it, just the preference I have. And type of hoe I'm using here for the garden, might as well show it to you while I'm out here, is a triangular type hoe, and I tend to prefer this hoe. It's nice because you have a wide side to the hoe that you can use when you're hoeing, and if you get close to a plant and there's a weed nearby and you want to get it out with a little bit of precision, you got the tip here to be a little more precise with. So it's just my preference. I have some other hoes. I have a rectangular hoe and a what they call a shuttle hoe, which basically looks like a loop that's flat on the bottom. I guess sort of like a trapezoidal shape, and it's just a loop. And basically the action is almost like mopping your floor. You push it back and forth through the soil. It disturbs the weed roots and gets them out. And I like that hoe. Does a great job, but not so much in this clay here in North Carolina, so it sits in the garage most of the time. And while I'm rolling this video, I figured I'd follow up with my garden video and show you what's been going on out here in the garden. And we're going to take a walk down this way. You can see the rest of the bush beans here. I have about 4 rows in right now. And while I'm out here with the cultivators today, I'm going to break up the rest of the soil out here and get 2 more rows of bush beans in. I try to stagger them because when they do come in, boy do they come in. And it gets a little overwhelming if you plant them all at the same time, because you could be out here pulling in 5-gallon buckets full of beans, and it just gets tedious after a while. And what we'll do is my wife cans them, puts them up. So we do this like every other year is usually how we do it with the beans. We grow a bunch of them, she cans them, and then in the following year we don't touch the beans. Grow them every other year. All right, we're going to head over to the tomato plants here. And as you can see, they're doing pretty well. I have them temporarily staked. During one of the rainstorms that came through here, we had large gusts of wind associated with it, and pushed all the tomato plants over, so they were looking a little sad at that point. So I came out here with these fiberglass poles that I got from Tractor Supply, and temporarily staked them up. I am going to cage the tomatoes. I do have tomato cages, so this is just temporarily just getting back up and growing again, and then actually probably need to get cages on them soon. They're getting pretty big, which also leads me to, I don't think I'll be able to get the cultivators through here with the tractor. I don't think I'm going to have the clearance for these, so I guess I'll be hoeing around tomatoes by hand. And this row here that we're looking at on the left that I'm pointing at with the hoe handle, that's all my Roma tomatoes, or also known as plum tomatoes. And then to the right here I have a short row with beefsteak tomatoes, and down at the end is a couple of cherry tomato plants. And then up here closer to me at the end of that row is my zucchini and some leaf lettuce, and it's all doing pretty well. I'm happy with the way things are going here in the garden this year so far. I didn't think it would be this good with all the rain we had, but hasn't really set things back. So just wanted to show you too that here on my zucchini plants, Sorry about the shadows here. The sun's coming back out, but I'm going to move around here a little bit so I'm not causing so much shade. You can see right in there, there's a baby zucchini starting. So they're already producing some zucchini. And also, when you look at my tomato plants, I already have some blossoms starting on the tomato plants. So things are progressing along pretty nicely here in the garden. And moving over here to my broccoli cauliflower row. Actually you can see that plant there was a victim of the wind we had that I mentioned came through. But otherwise everything's looking pretty good in the garden. And take you back down here. I do have my peppers in now. Last time I made the video, I hadn't had the peppers planted yet. They were waiting to be transplanted. And basically what I have out here is bell pepper varieties, several different varieties of bell pepper, some green bell pepper, some orange sun variety from Burpee, and down at the very end of the row, I kind of have a little experiment going there with a couple of plants. They were seeds that we got from some store peppers that my wife really likes. And I said, I'll save some seeds, we'll see what we get. So it's basically an experiment. I don't know if it'll actually produce the same type of peppers that she bought at the store, or if it's going to revert back to whatever it was before. If it was some type of a hybrid type seed or plant, then it's not going to be the same. So we'll see what we get. I've done that before with watermelons and actually liked what produced the following year when it reverted back. So you never know. If you got some room, it's always nice to experiment and see what you get. It's a little surprise. And here's the corn. It's doing pretty well also. Needs to go through with the cultivators too. And I have about 6 rows I believe in right now, and I'm going to plant some more sweet corn. I like to stagger the planting on that a little bit too. And my wife will also put a lot of the corn up. She just cuts it off the cob and freezes it, and we put that up in the freezer for the winter. So I have plenty of corn. And then at the end of the row here, as a matter of fact, I'll take a walk down. We have my potato plants, and they're doing pretty well also. Quite happy. They're looking good now. I have several varieties in here. I think the one is called a German butterball type tomato, potato. I'm saying tomato. It's potato. And I'm not quite sure. I don't remember the other brand here. Or variety, I should say. Let me see. I have them staked with the names. These are the red thumb tomatoes, or potatoes. Boy, I got tomatoes on the brain today. But these are the red thumb potatoes. So never had them before. We'll see what they produce, how they taste. But that's about it for right now. I will mention I have some what look like they could be squash or some type of pumpkin, which actually, if it is what I think it is, it's gourds. We had gourds in here the one year, and every time I plow this up and till it, I always wind up with a few. And if I don't utilize the whole garden, I'll just leave them grow and see what we get out of it. So no, I don't necessarily have to cut them under. Anyway, this video is getting long, so we're going to wrap it up, and thanks for watching.